Paramount launches a hostile bid for Warner Brothers, topping Netflix's not even week-old offer. I'm Sean Caleb's in Washington, D.C. A media bidding war is shaking up Hollywood. Paramount is going up against streaming giant Netflix, launching a hostile bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, this move comes just days after Netflix announced a multi-billion-dollar deal to acquire Warner Brothers. To talk more about all of this surrounding the Warner Brothers deal, we're joined by Seth Schachtner. He's the managing director at CGTN America and a digital business executive. Seth, welcome to the program. This is kind of interesting. Okay, Paramount makes a hostile bid for Warner Brothers. So what do you see the outcome being of this bidding war? And in a minute, I kind of want to get into where the funding comes from.
Well, look, I don't think anyone really knows exactly the outcome. I think it's fair to say right now, because there's essentially been an accepted offer and there's some fairly massive breakup fees. You know, $5.8 billion is the highest, that Netflix is kind of in the favored kind of catbird seat right now. So, you know, if I was a betting person, I think they probably have a little bit of an edge on it. But these are two very compelling offers. And I think the real kind of underlying theme out here in LA that a lot of folks are worried about and are pulling for is that, you know, people don't want to see one of the oldest, most storied, most vital American studios kind of get sucked into a tech titan, basically. And I think the sense is that they'd rather see them compete in combination with another studio to bulk up against Netflix. But it's really not clear who's going to win this. I do think Netflix has got a bit of an edge right now, just because their board's been active and there's an offer that's been accepted.
Right, but if someone comes in with what $17 billion more to make it a $101 billion deal, and we know the U.S. president says he is going to be very involved in this deal, and his son-in-law is managing the firm where the money's coming from. What about those details? Because Trump is very loyal to his family. Do you think that's going to come into play?
Well, I think the first thing that you said, look, the Warner board is what I'd look at. That's the most critical factor. They said two things. They said, we're going to split the company in two. We want as much money as we possibly can for it. And I think if you look at the offers that have come in, the offer that was accepted kind of hews pretty closely to that, basically. I still think that's what they're looking for. Paramount's got a little bit of a different approach. I like the bid. I think Mr. Ellison and his team have put some thought into it. Yeah, there's a political factor for sure. I don't know how you handicap that and what you say about it. I think our government, the FCC, will certainly have a role in what's best for, you know, for the market here. I do think, to give comfort to it, all parties are concerned about American workers and not creating massive bloodletting, and trying to set a situation up where you can grow the theatrical entertainment business. The entertainment business here in LA is so vital.
Yeah. Let's talk about the if Netflix would get it, because it's a streaming giant. And I read a quote, and I'm terrified to kind of paraphrase it because I don't want to get it wrong. But basically, Netflix said cinema is cinema, but streaming is where it's at.
Yeah, look, they have not been terribly supportive of theaters at all. I mean, they release movies kind of in a perfunctory way to get them, you know, qualified for Oscar consideration. Yep. They own a theater out here in LA, and and you know, why would someone pay to go to a movie theater when they can get it as part of their Netflix subscription? It's just, you know, it's counterintuitive. So I know they're saying they're going to support it. I'm sure that they will. There's different divisions of Warner Brothers if they do get it. But, you know, if you really look out 5 to 10 to 15 years from now, I don't know. I don't have a huge amount of confidence in that. I think in the short term, if they do get it, there's going to be a lot of pressure on what we call the theatrical releasing window. So basically, you know, you can wait a shorter amount of time to sit on your couch and have a pizza and watch the movie rather than going out to the movie theaters. And I think that's what's really driving a lot of the concern out here, too, is the demise of movie theaters.
Yeah. Let's talk about what Wall Street and competitors and consumers think about this. What's your gauge on that? I know it's probably an unfair question, but I'm going to ask it anyhow.
No, it's a great question, and it's remarkably mixed, to be honest with you. I think the most interesting thing I'm seeing is that some of the Wall Street analysts are saying, gee, if Netflix buys a studio, they're no longer this kind of beautiful pure play that we had in terms of a digital growth story. And I think their stock's a little bit off from this, and the Warner stock has been given a little bit of a boost actually because Mr. Zaslav, who ran it, I mean,
Yeah.
it's fair to say that team kind of destroyed a lot of value there. So, but it's been very mixed about this. I think this is something that came a little bit out of the blue, and it's about combining to survive in a different area for these studios. So it's very mixed right now, Sean.
Seth, we have about 1 minute left. I'm going to ask you about likely steps for approval, how this is going to work, and what do you think is going to happen to CNN? Because there's a lot of belief that when Paramount took over CBS, it became a right-wing entity.
Yeah, look, this is going to go under approval, government authorities for sure, whether that's the FCC or the FTC or Mr. Trump himself will be involved in it. I think that they are looking right now, most critically with the Netflix bid, at market share. And I think it trips over a threshold. It's over a 30% market share. So it'll get some scrutiny for sure, as will the other bid, because, Paramount's got some TV networks, right? It's got CBS in there, and you could potentially combine that with CNN. If the board at Warner Brothers is able to execute its plan in the scenario of a Netflix merger, they would, spin out the networks like Discovery and CNN and do a different company, just as NBC Comcast has done here. So that's probably the easiest solution. But look, I think in any of these mergers, whoever the buyer is, they're going to be looking at efficiencies long term and where they can combine, where they can kind of collapse parts of the companies to make sense going forward. There'll probably be losses in terms of jobs, but there'll probably be cost savings as well.
Indeed. Seth, I really appreciate your insight. This is a fascinating story, and I'm sure going to follow it and hopefully talk to you again in the near future. Thank you, my friend.
Great to be here, Sean.